Okay, so I checked the oil, windshield wiper fluid, everything's good inside. Okay, let's close this up. So when it comes to winterizing your car, you might think it's checking your tires, swapping out the windshield wipers, checking the oil level, windshield wiper fluid, and much more. I mean, that is some key components that you should be doing when it comes to winterizing your ride. But one thing that a lot of people forget to do is protecting the actual paint and your investment. So I have this M4 right here. I already switched out the windshield wipers, so that's perfectly fine. I do not know if the coating or anything's on the glass. And if you guys also look at the brake dust, you guys already know BMWs accumulate tons of brake dust. So we're gonna start off with a wash. We're gonna be using Clean Slate. Clean Slate is going to help me remove any previous coatings that the car might have. So let me get that wash out the way, and then I'll bring it back inside so I can show you guys how to get the maximum shine and protection this winter. Okay, so I just finished washing this M4 using Clean Slate. Now, Clean Slate is designed to remove any type of coatings, such as like a glaze, sealant, and wax that might be sitting on the surface of this car. Now, you always want to do this as a reset, so whenever you go into winter or your car stays outside, obviously this is a daily driven car, it's going to stay protected. So our next step is going to be cleaning the surface of the car. So I have my clay luber, and I also have my OG clay bar. So my OG clay bar is going to allow me to clay the surface of this car. Now, even though this car is brand new, if I grab my hand, you guys can hear how much contamination is sitting on the surface of the car. So this clay bar, what it's going to do, it's going to help me remove any contamination that might be sitting on the surface of the hood. So all you want to do is pull back on these plastic sleeves, remove about a small portion from it. Now, I only remove a small portion from it just because if I do drop it, or if Joey was to come back over here and I misplaced my clay bar, I still have my full clay bar that I could go back and reuse. So I'll put this back in my little Ziploc bag, put this off to the side, and then I will stretch this clay bar out. And then after I have a 3-width finger, you guys can see how sticky it is. I'll get my clay luber, I'll go to the surface of the hood, I'll spray some. Now, you always want to lubricate the surface very well because you want to prevent any clay marring. So spray some onto the hood, spray some onto the bar, and then you just go back and forth. Now, if your car is severely contaminated, we do have different types of grades of clay bar. We have starting from light all the way to heavy. So how I like to explain it, if you have not clay barred your car in the past 6 to 12 months, I recommend using the yellow one. If your car is fairly brand new, use the blue one. If you have never clay barred your car and it sounds like sandpaper on your hood, I recommend going with the heaviest one. So I'm just going side to side, back and forth, and I'm removing all contamination that is sitting on the surface of this hood. Like I mentioned to you guys before, this car is a daily driven car, so it gets a lot of fallout and other stuff. So if I come close to you guys can see all of the contamination that's coming back onto the bar. So what you want to do after your bar has a lot of contamination, you want to remold it and re-knead it to another good side, and you want to continue with the clay bar process. But in this occasion, I'll just get a clean microfiber towel, remove the tag, and I'm just going to wipe down the residue that was left behind from my clay luber, so I could show you guys the results that I achieved. So I'll just wipe off the residue in linear motions. Now, after you finish clay barring the surface of a car, it's basically vulnerable to the elements. So if I was to just get this car out of the garage and start driving it, and if I was to come in contact with sprinklers or fallout or bird dropping, obviously the bird dropping is going to etch a lot faster into the clear coat and damage the paint. Same thing as water spots. The calcium is going to eat up this clear coat. So if I grab my hand over here, you guys see here how it's very contaminated compared to over here. It's smooth as glass. So how I like to explain it to you guys, if you guys do not have a cracked phone, it should feel like your phone screen. So I'm gonna just continue doing this process around the hood, around the car, and then we'll get back to you guys to show you guys how easy it is to apply HydroSlick. So let's keep going. Okay, so we just finished clay barring the whole entire car. Now, if I was to grab my hand, this paint is smooth as glass. I mean, there's no type of contamination sitting on the surface of this car whatsoever. So now to protect the paint, I'll be using our 𝗁𝗃. Now, a lot of people are going to ask us in the comment section down below, what's the difference between a wax? What's the difference between a sealant, a glaze? I'm here to tell you, whenever it comes to winter, you want something that's actually going to hard onto the paint and create a hydrophobic barrier. Now, I'm not saying wax in this occasion is bad, but it's not going to last as long, especially if you live in the East Coast, where you're gonna be coming in contact with a lot of salt, a lot of debris, snow that sits on the surface of the car. A wax is only going to hold up to a certain point. You want something that's actually going to hard onto the surface of the paint and create a hydrophobic barrier. Now, a wax is going to create a sheeting effect. Now, you could still apply a wax over 𝗁𝗃 or a sealant or a glaze. Now, I forgot to recap a glaze. A glaze, all it's going to do is fill in micro shoulder scratches. So, not really any protection. But how do you actually apply a ceramic? It's super, super easy. Anybody could do it, even yourself. You want to grab a clean microfiber applicator. I always recommend using either a new one or a super clean one. And you want to use 𝗁𝗃. Now, have you applied wax before? I'm pretty sure you have. So it's the same exact way. You want to grab your bottle, shake it just to mix it. Open up the spout, and I'll be applying 6 dots onto my applicator. Now, we always get this question asking us on our social media platforms. Is it supposed to look like jelly? And the answer is yes. So this is our ceramic gel and hyper wax. So what you want to do is you want to evenly spread it out on the surface of your paint like a wax. Now, I have a little bit of excess right here, so I'll just come back and get it. And as you guys can see, I already started doing the cross-hatching pattern. Now, I always recommend doing the cross-hatching pattern because it's going to allow you to get an even coverage around the surface of the car that you're trying to work on. Now, here's the tricky part whenever it comes to a ceramic and a wax. A wax, you can let it sit on there for about 10, 15, 20 minutes, and it won't harden. It's going to haze. In comparison to like a ceramic, you always want to take it a section at a time because a ceramic hardens, a wax does not. So just cross-hatch pattern. After this cross-hatch pattern, I'm gonna get my clean, soft microfiber towel and buff off the residue. So I'll put my applicator off to the side. I have a little bit of excess right there. Just wipe it off. I'll get my clean microfiber towel. But you guys can see, you know how this hazes up and hardens. I'm using a towel with 2 different types of pals. A long pile and a short pile. Whenever you are working with a wax, a ceramic, a glaze, or a sealant, I recommend using the short pile because it will not drag. After 30 seconds to 2 minutes, you'll come back and buff off the residue left behind from 𝗁𝗃. And I mean, the surface of this car is just getting smoother and smoother. Oh my God, like this thing feels just like butter. So I'm just buffing it off, making sure I'm removing everything. If you guys do need help with a light, we do have a ultra chemical guys light. You guys can pick it up on our website, chemicalguys.com, to ensure you get everything off. But in this occasion, we do have control lighting in here. So I am seeing where everything is at. I know I'm still missing a bunch right here, but I'm just taking a section at a time, making sure I'm removing everything, because here's a pro tip, or here's a key fact, if I should say. If you do forget to remove it, obviously it is a true ceramic, it's going to harden on the surface of your paint, you will have to polish it out. So I am preventing that by me just taking it a section at a time, buffing off the residue. And I mean, this thing is looking phenomenal. I'm gonna love to see the color outside, just so I can see how well the paint glows. So flip it over to another clean side. And here's where I can start using the long pile whenever I don't have excess amount. Like, I mean, look, no elbow grease, it's not dragging on the surface, super easy. If I grab my fingers, smooth as glass. So now it's just time for me to finish up that side. And then after that, we're gonna take out the car outside in the sunlight so you guys can see the amazing shine 𝗁𝗃 is going to leave behind on this BMW M4. So the car is clean, clayed, ceramic coated. It's ready for the winter. But here's a quick pro tip. What I like to do during the winter, I like getting some rubber floor mats and inserting them into my car. Now, you can take out the fabric floor mats. The only reason why I do this is because obviously here in California, every Californian gets all excited whenever there's water, and water transfers into the carpet, and then you might get mud into your carpet. And overall, you're just dealing with more messes, especially out in the East Coast. You guys get a lot of salt. You guys' boots might be dirty. Put some rubber floor mats, and then whenever it comes back to spring or summer, take them back out and go back to fabric. Now, let's go outside and show you guys the result I achieved on this BMW. Let's go. Come on. And just like that, the car is ready for winter. Tire pressure is on point, oil has been changed, windshield wiper fluid has been maintained, but nonetheless, the paint is finally protected. So like this, if it comes in contact with water, it's going to be protected as always. If you would like to pick up any of the products I used in today's video, you can find them at chemicalguys.com or drive down to your local detail garage. We will see you guys next time.